Frank Mir's daughter has challenged Brock Lesnar's daughter to a fight and asked the question, who wouldn't want to see that? Okay, let's unpack this. So, Frank Mir's daughter, I know, I've actually matched up with Destiny Rodriguez twice. Twice we've been on the other side of the mat as Bella Mir. And I can just vouch from having followed her since she's a little girl, is awesome. There would be no other way to describe Bella. And Bella had made waves. Was it linebacker? Was she the starting linebacker out in Las Vegas for football and state wrestling champion and full ride, I believe, University of Iowa for wrestling. And it's Frank's daughter. And Frank had said at one point that no child of his can leave the house. They can't move out of the house until they're at least a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. So just having these little pieces of information. You then have Brock's daughter, who I met one time, by the way, throw myself into this. Could not have been more pleasant, but she's a track and field star. And I have followed her career at a distance as well. And I'm trusting that most of you have. Most of you know everything that I just said. You know how highly decorated Brock's daughter is, and you know how awesome Frank's daughter is. But she said it would be to settle the rivalry between Brock and Frank. So there was a couple of questions asked. She openly asked, who would not want to see it? So, when you think of Brock Lesnar, do you think of Frank Mir? When you think of Frank Mir and all that was achieved in his incredible career, do you think of Lesnar? And I ask it that way just because I don't. I don't tie those two together. I was at the first fight that they ever did. I watched Frank knee-bar him. I realized what happened and was telling the person next to me this is over, all before the fight being stopped. I mean, it was one of these things where it felt like this knee bar just lasted forever, but I reminisce. And I don't know that there's any unfinished business between those two, and I'm just personalizing it. I don't feel like there is. I don't feel like that was a part 3, right? That was their first fight, then they rematched at UFC 100. And I just felt like everything was settled between them. Do I have it wrong? I usually have my thumb right on the pulse. Do I have it wrong? Are you guys going, no, wow, when I think of Frank Mir, man, his career wouldn't have been the same without Brock Lesnar. When I think about Brock Lesnar, oh, whoa, his career wouldn't have been the same without Frank, and we should have gotten that trilogy. Do you feel that way? Do you believe that? What lends to doing a match 3? Has there ever been a match 3 where a world title wasn't on the line? Maybe. I don't actually have the answers to these questions. I was forced to confront these when Bella straight up asked who wouldn't want to see it, and then she said something else. And in full disclosure, right, I'm trying to not have a biasness either way. I let you know that I met Brock's daughter, and it was really wonderful. On Bella, I wanted to be her manager at one point. I want to say she was a junior in high school, but I was even reaching out to mom and dad, so I'm just disclosing. Okay. What would they be fighting about and why? And Bella had made a comment about the physical attributes. What a great athlete that the track and field achievements prove the athleticism of Lesnar's daughter. And Bella told her to take a year. Take 1 year, focus on MMA. Who wouldn't want to see that? Is that true? Can you learn MMA in 1 year? I got to tell you, wrestling is just a small part of it, and I've been trying to teach my son it. And I'm not at a full year yet, but I am at I'm at the halfway point, and I'm not halfway there. I don't know if you can learn MMA in a year. I don't know. I feel like that was the mistake that perhaps Brock Lesnar made in the first fight with Frank Mir, was thinking that he had learned MMA, but he went out and did it too quickly. You got a little bit more time. You do the match, you have a very different result. So I do have a couple of questions in response. See, I don't hate the idea of these two competing in something. Like, there is something compelling about former UFC champion Frank Mir's daughter and former UFC champion Brock Lesnar's daughter. Like, there is something here. There's something to it. But I would think the last thing I would want to see them do is fight. I could see it going over to Bella's sport, and then maybe we come and do some track and field things, right? We swing the pendulum back towards Brock's daughter's sport. I don't know about them coming head-to-head and fighting. And is there a grudge there that didn't come to an end? Do you feel unwhole? Do you feel incomplete? I would watch Brock Lesnar fight again. I'd love to watch Frank Mir fight again. When you put them together, I feel like as though that is something that we've already done. And moreover, 1 year, is that all it takes to learn the sport of MMA? I don't think there's any other sport that you could master in a year. Is it true? Is 1 year all a good athlete would need to compete in MMA?